My granddad was not a well-educated man. He left school in the 5th grade because he didn't want to repeat it for the 3rd time. And he had to do something to make a living, and the one thing he knew how to do was butcher a cow. So the day he left school, literally, he went and bought a cow, butchered it, cut it up, put it on a horse-drawn wagon, took it into town and sold it. By the time I came along and knew anything, my dad and my granddad were killing 5,000 to 7,000 head a week, putting them in semis and sending the stuff everywhere. And my granddad didn't have a lot of education, but he knew how to give 1,000 men a full-time job. He had an amazing attitude towards the Bible. He said, it's real simple. If God says it, you do it. One day he called me in and he said, Davy, I got a job for you. I said, sure, Grandpa, what? He said, we bought this farmer's cattle too cheap. And I looked at the stuff. I said, no, we didn't do anything wrong. I said, Grandpa, we just got a sweet deal. We were top bid at the auction. He said, that's not how a Christian does it, son. He said, you see, I'm commanded by God to watch out for them over me. And I'm supposed to do for them what I'd want them to do to me. He said, you want somebody, David, to buy your cattle too cheap? I said, no. He said, then don't you ever do it to anybody else. Took me a long time to get to that farm. Knocked. And the farmer's wife came and she pulled the curtain back and looked out. She opened up and I said, my name's Dave Gibbs and my granddad Earl Gibbs sent me to tell you we're sorry. We bought your cattle too cheap. And we're Christians and we don't do that. And he wants to make it right here. By now her husband had come up. And she opened that and saw the money. She started to cry so hard she got a nosebleed. And her husband's hugging her. I'll never forget what she said. She said, what kind of man does this? You know what her husband said? A Christian. A real one. Is that you? Is that me? When my granddad passed away, the lady that I first handed that first money to, she and her husband are there. And she came out, and it's hard now looking at me that they all called me Little Gibbs back then. That's hard to think of. But she came up and hugged my neck, and she said, Little Gibbs, be like your granddad. He was real. You be real. At the end of the trail, they're going to say something. What would they say right now? You can change it. But you'll not change it by accident. It'll change when you say, by God's grace, I'm going to prefer others over myself.